to really demonstrate to this country and save South Africa. The ANC can be sued President Cyril Ramaphosa because he has openly abdicated his responsibility to discharge his constitutional obligation. The Minister of Police and the security clusters, including the ANC as an organization, on a class action lawsuit. And I think it's something that makes sense. And from what the lawyers have presented, I think this is a winnable case, but it's not obviously a walk in the park. You can imagine they're going to use your taxes, Alex, to defend themselves. They'll do everything possible to protect themselves. But I think we've got enough evidence of their criminality.
And you're also calling on other South Africans who've been affected during this last week of rioting to join you in this class action.
Well, I think we're doing it really more for them, more especially the business community, SMMEs, people who've lost everything. I mean, there are people out there who have been hit over the year with all this unreasonable, sometimes COVID regulations, totally unreasonable. And all of a sudden, you finish them by unleashing criminal elements to go and destroy their businesses. These people don't have insurance, so we're calling on them, even those with having insurance, the more the merrier. So we're asking any business that actually wants to really join us on this. Our lawyers believe this is a winnable case under the current South African Constitution, and we are committed to it. I'm personally committed to this, to really demonstrate to South Africans that we are governed by criminal syndicates. I think you just have to really look at the evidence put forward in the Zondo Commission. So there's enough evidence that we can really produce in any court of law to demonstrate the criminality of this government. Let me give you just one simple example. Look at the current Minister of Health, who has been put on paid leave with security, everything, earning what, 2.8 million rands a year. Just that instead of Cyril Ramaphosa dealing with this man, put on paid leave. SIU has already given the report to Cyril Ramaphosa. When is it already? What, 2-3 weeks? Sitting on it. But us as taxpayers have to really deal with this. When people in this country don't have bread to buy. In fact, they've now destroyed facilities where they can go and buy. Even those that can have money to go and buy bread, they don't have anywhere to really buy because they've destroyed their infrastructure. On Sunday, when Cyril Ramaphosa announced having the so-called family meetings, I issued a press statement asking the president to say, based on the developments the last few days, trucks are being banned on the N3 and so forth. Who said, advised, requested him, because I'm not his advisor, I requested him as a concerned South African with total good faith, says, Mr. President, please bring in the army because our police are not going to really have the capacity to do this. Please set up special courts like we did in 2010, so that as soon as you arrest these people, the current constitution is not going to be enough to quell this. Have special court so that you arrest the person within 6 hours or whatever time they can go to court and face the might of our court. So that if they're found guilty, let them join Jacob Zuma in prison. If they are innocent, release them. But you cannot have the current legislation where these criminals are arrested in few hours, they've got lawyers getting them out. This is unacceptable. And you saw his family meeting on Sunday. What a disappointment. Only he did the call 48 hours later. And you look at him, how he presented. You presented this matter as if, you know what, he's talking to a nation that is the wealthiest in the world, where there are no issues. Someone stole someone's car radio, therefore he's concerned about it. I mean, you could see emotionally was totally detached from his statement, not really showing the seriousness of this matter. And now in the process, what has happened? What embarrassing situation. While he was busy addressing the nation,
Mm.
on the side of the screen, people were looting. People are still looting even up to today. And we know this has got absolutely nothing to do with you and I, law-abiding citizens of this country. This is as a result of the factional battles within the ANC, with no interest of society behind them. It's got to do with the unity of the ANC, because Cyril Ramaphosa has always said his priority is the unity of the ANC. So where South Africa falls in his priority list, I'm not really sure. That is for that reason we are saying no. The president has really abdicated his responsibility. The Minister of Police, the Minister of Defense, Intelligence, including the ANC as an organization. And we'll take them up. And yes, I know they're going to use my texts to defend themselves, but we believe we have a very, very, very strong case.
Herman, it's interesting to see that civil society has been coming a lot more to the fore recently, I suppose because they've had to. Uh, Previously apathetic citizens joining together, protecting their suburbs, getting involved. We know the Maponya Mall in Soweto was saved only because of people in the area saying, you're not going to burn this one down. Is this something that will be in Action SA's favor? In other words, this revitalization, perhaps, of a involvement by citizenry in South Africa?
You know what, Alex? This whole matter for me, it's got absolutely nothing to do in getting favor or not. It's about my country, South Africa. That's the only country in the world. I only hold one citizenship. I've got nowhere to go. I can afford to go and live anywhere in the world, but I'm not going anywhere. This is the only country I have, and this is the only country I'm going to protect, and this is where I'm going to really die. So, therefore, if that is the case, fortunate enough, we've got a constitutional framework that allows us as South Africans. I don't live under apartheid. Under apartheid, what I've said, I would already been charged under Terrorism Act and 90 days without trial. I live in a constitutional democracy. And I've asked South Africans, we don't live under the suppression of Communism Act of 1950. We live in a constitutional democracy with the Bill of Rights, Bill of Rights adopted in 1996. And as a South Africans, our silence has actually failed us, more especially captains of industry. They've got to take the responsibility for their support of this indecisive leader, because they really went all out to really support Cyril Ramaphosa. And I warned South Africa about Cyril Ramaphosa that he's going to fail us. And look at, he has spectacularly failed us. We are a laughingstock of the world today.
What about the fact that he and the security forces were missing in action during the first few days? They appear to now be on the ground, but certainly they were nowhere to be seen and left citizens to their own devices, whatever that might be. And we've seen many instances of this on social media. Some people are taking the law into their own hands. How, if you were president, would you handle this differently?
This is, for me, Alec, the basis of our legal challenge and this class action. That's the basis of our action. We can prove beyond any reasonable doubt that Cyril Ramaphosa has abdicated his responsibility as the citizen of this country to protect our constitution. And in the process of protecting our constitution, he's got an obligation to protect my property, to protect my life, and the lives and the property of the 50 plus million South Africans. And he failed in his duty, which is really very unfortunate for him for having acted in this manner. But why we know he acted in this manner is because he knows this whole issue has got to do with the ruptures within the ANC. So right now he's in meetings to see how he can have the unity of the ANC, not to really protect you and I and our properties and our lives. Because his first priority, it is the ANC unity. And ANC unity, it's a pipe dream. It will never happen because it is not about public interest. It's about being closer to public resources so that they can continue stealing. And we are not going to, as South Africans, going to allow them any longer. And I'm committed to this cause on ensuring that we can unseat the ANC in a peaceful manner using our constitutional right. I'm asking and appealing to the 18.5 million South Africans who did not vote the last time. Please, fellow South Africans, go and register to vote. The IEC just yesterday opened up online registration. Let us ensure that we have elections as a matter of urgency. Let us go out and unseat this ANC. One thing I can tell South Africans that the ANC does not really have the support of the armed forces. We cannot really have democracy, but we can have chaos if we don't legally and constitutionally remove them out of office.
Herman, how's it going with Action SA? Last time we spoke at our conference in March, you were growing your base quite significantly. Is that continued?
Well, more than I would have imagined, and I say this with complete humility. I think, as you are aware, we have already committed to contest the three metros in Gauteng, Johannesburg, Tshwane, and Ukuruleni. We've already we've made history. We ran primaries. Our public representatives have been elected by the people, not by us behind closed doors in smoke-filled distance. So all the three metros in Gauteng, people have already gone through the vote election, where in the primaries where they've elected each ward in the three metros, it's already covered. We've already agreed to contest eThekwini. eThekwini, because of the timing, we did not have enough time to run the primaries, but under the leadership and stewardship of Dr. Makosi as the provincial chair, she is putting together, working with communities to ensure that they have credible, ethical leaders that are going to represent them in each ward. And I will shortly be announcing 2 additional municipalities in KZN, which ActionSA is going to contest. Really, quite a humbling experience. This is a tough job. This big animal called, and used to be, because ANC, it's a dying rural party. It's not an easy project because they had created wrong perception, false lies over the years that they are a leader of society. Fortunately, now South Africans have seen through them. How can you have claim to be a leader of society with no morality, with no consciousness? So I think people have seen through them, and the only way that you will see ANC out of government, it is for South Africans not to allow elections to really be delayed any further. That's probably one of the reasons why they're allowing this chaos to happen. That's why they're not giving our people the vaccination program so that they can have a reason to continue being in government without the mandate of South African population.
Are you contesting all of the wards in those 3 metros?
All of them, not a single ward does not really have a candidate.
Wow,
not a single ward they does not have, elected by the communities in those wards.
But that's a huge logistical exercise. You must have a lot of people supporting you in this.
Well, I mean, by the time I spoke to you in March, you remember I told you we had over 200,000 volunteers. And I think what is for me humbling is looking at communities in Soweto in particular, people putting their own money by buying T-shirts, buying logistics. And it's been for me such a humbling experience, how South Africans are heartful. That's why we're running a campaign. And actually this campaign informed by people said, no, we are heartful. When by South African lingo, when someone is heartful, that means you can't take this any longer. and people are hurtful, and people of Soweto, people of Tembisa, people of Atteridgeville, people of Center are hurtful, and they wanted a platform where they can express their anger, because all the other parties in the past, they are happy that the other day I sent on public platforms to show how much they earn. So they are happy to be in opposition. For us in ActionSA, we are not in this game to be opposition. We are in this game unapologetically to remove ANC democratically out of government, so that we can really put in ethical leadership to run this country forward. And that's the day that I can step back and go to my capitalist career, because I'm a born capitalist. It's in my blood. And being a public servant right now, I'm doing it because I think I cannot morally and spiritually sit back and let this country collapse and go and play golf. The days I'll play golf after ANC is out of office, we've got ethical leaders that I know that will run this country, and we will hold them accountable.
Are the ANC showing any concerns at Action SA? Are you getting any feedback from within their structures that they're worried that you're coming for them?
Well, they keep on sending people to come and destabilize us from time to time. I wasn't born yesterday, Alex. So we have measures in place. Every time we find someone sent into our structures for wrong reasons, you look at our constitution. It does not really take us 24 hours to really get rid of you. So once you are sent into our operation for wrong reasons, we get rid of you. We've made sure that our constitution, in line with the South African constitution, we can get rid of you, because the ActionSA, it's a voluntary organization. If you don't want to be there and you think you can threaten us by going to the media, please go and tell the media how we fired you, because we will fire you if you don't really respect our constitutional framework. You are not forced to. Our membership is not paid, so you can't say we took your money. So if you are not happy with us, go to the NC and other parties that would allow nonsense. We will not tolerate the nonsense in our organization. We will decisively, if you want to see a party that will take decisions on behalf of the interest of the people of South Africa, as ActionSA, and we are unapologetic about this. That's why I'm making it.
Sorry, I jumped in there. Sorry, Herman.
That is why I'm making it clear, looking at the unemployment rate that was caused by COSATU and the Tripartite Alliance and the so-called Communist Party and ANC. We are saying as ActionSA, as one part of our core value, no union will have a veto right on our economic policies. Our economy is going to be driven by the private sector. We are unapologetic about this. Yes, unions are going to be part of this. We will listen to them. We would want them to represent their members, but they will not represent everyone. It is going to be us as government to represent the entire society. Unlike right now, where we've allowed the unions to destroy jobs over the last few years, we will ensure that our children get the best education. SADTU, with this ANC, they will be kicked out of the education system. We will allow government to be responsible for running the government. Principals are going to be elected, appointed by government. We will ask South Africans to give us the mandate. Overnight, we will bring back the Scorpions. Overnight, we'll bring back school inspectors to ensure that no one can ever have a say to who becomes a principal, like what's happening with the ANC and SADTU. SADTU will be kicked out of our schooling system. We will only have teachers who are committed to teach our children. If you are not prepared, you think you can hold us to ransom, we will deal with you and will deal with you appropriately.